Welcome to You Don't Know Vietnam, the show that demystifies Vietnam for global audiences by talking to the creatives, trendsetters and business owners who are taking on the market. Vietnam isn't all rice paddies and buffaloes, you know, as you're about to find out. I'm Ian Paynton, co-founder of We Create Content, and on this episode of You Don't Know Vietnam, we're talking to advertising copywriter and all-round awesome guy, Hoang Pham. Hoang moved to Ho Chi Minh City from Hanoi 5 years ago to pursue a career in advertising, and he's absolutely smashed it. He's rapidly working his way up at a global ad agency, and he's done it all while navigating his gender transition. Today, he talks about the state of advertising in Vietnam, what it means to be creative here, the LGBTQI community, and using YouTube to teach himself how to inject testosterone. Without further ado, let's get into this one. Hoang ơi. How do you feel to be back in Hanoi? Welcome back.
Good. I love the weather. I love the vibe. A lot of my favorite places didn't survive COVID.
Right.
But yeah, I like the vibe so far.
Yeah. How is Ho Chi Minh City? How are you getting on there?
Good. Like financially it's a bit unstable, but career-wise or like life-wise it's okay.
You've been working at the ad agency now for
4+ years.
What do you do there?
I'm a copywriter.
Yeah.
Last year I became the team leader for the first time. Like before that I was just like one of the seniors. Like I would work in very small team, and usually I just lead that unit of 2 people. That is me and the art director. But this year was like the first time where I became like the actual leader of like 2 small teams.
Yeah.
So last year was kind of a wide ride.
Yeah. And how's the advertising scene kind of changed or bounced back since COVID?
It hasn't, to be honest. Like I feel like because 2021 or 2022, they had to do like a lot of like innovating their business or like their marketing communication activities to be like all online or like somehow to be more digital or like more mobile first. But still, because the economic crisis has only just begun, so I feel like every client in Ho Chi Minh City right now is like bracing themselves, like they're just trying to stick to the tried and true of advertising. I can only speak in advertising. So like lately they haven't been very open to like ideas that are a bit out of their comfort zone. So it's very like conservative at the moment. Like a lot of good ideas are bashed just because they're a bit out of the client's comfort zone. They're a bit wide. They just stick to what they know to be good.
Right.
So yeah, the scene for the past few months, I haven't seen an ad that I'm really proud of to show my overseas colleagues.
Right. So brands are tending to play it quite safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And are they looking for like more performance-based stuff that like
Exactly, yeah.
definitely converts rather than touchy-feely emotion, conceptual stuff?
Yeah. They want like a lot of innovations in terms of like media or like effectiveness. So maybe we can aim at effectiveness if we want like a big goal, but they're not going for creativity or like disruptive, impactful stuff right now.
Right. How does that impact your life as a creative, and how does it impact the team?
For my team, it's very hard because a lot of our thinking is very thematic or like conceptual. So last year it was quite a struggle. So lately we've been trying to like find like ways to be more down to earth.
Right.
in our ideas as well. but I mean, we're having fun with it. It is not like we're like, let's go back down to earth or anything like that. We're like, okay, let's learn to be down to earth.
Yeah.
So the team's been like quite mature about it.
Yeah.
they don't mind it so much.
I feel like when I look at advertising in Vietnam, it often seems pretty on the nose, pretty straightforward. I've not seen much conceptual stuff.
Conceptual, you mean like more aspirational, or more like less like salesy
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
work?
I just tend to see like most adverts, like someone shouting the product name,
Yeah.
you know, a model in the studio looking like kind of shocked or amazed with the product in their hand.
Yeah.
I don't see much more than that sometimes, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, it's not too. So, for example, for an agency, the moment like we do a pitch or like the moment we do a proposal, usually we have like at least two ideas. One of them would be very on the nose, and the other we get to fly a little bit where we talk more lifestyle-y, more like aspirational stuff, or more like conceptual stuff. Maybe we use some kind of metaphors or like some figures of speech in our copy and in our like visual as well, visual metaphors. So it's not. It is out there. I just think like I think there's a trend between where marketers like allocate the conceptual versus the salesy stuff. So for example, if you go back to like the 2000s or something like that, some of my favorite Vietnamese ads were from that era, and you will see a lot of storytelling. It's not like product, but there's a really good story in there. There's a really good insight in there. Yeah. So some of my favorite stuff was from the 2000s actually. Like for example, there was a project from what's that milk brand?
Vietnam,
No,
TH Juice.
Dutch Lady.
Oh, okay.
I don't think TH was there from
Right,
2000. Yeah, Dutch Lady. So they did this campaign called the Firefly Lights.
Right.
And basically it's like a CSR campaign, but they turn it into like a above the line campaign as well. So on TV they were having an ad like talking about how we can share with the less fortunate and shit like that. It was really good. So I feel like before marketers would like place more lifestyle, aspirational or less salesy stuff on like above the line channels. Like on TV they would do that. On big billboards they would do that. On like big magazines they would do that. Like on mass media, and then they would leave the more salesy stuff to like other channels like they didn't have Facebook posts there, but maybe direct marketing, email marketing, stuff like that. Whereas lately on TV, all you see is product. Buy this. Whereas the more like conceptual stuff would be put on Facebook posts.
Right.
So I think it's about like allocation, less allocation on mass media for conceptual stuff, and more allocation for salesy stuff. I think one of the big problem with Vietnamese ads or marketers is they try to put too much into one piece, like one asset. So I was in Singapore like earlier this December, and I saw an ad for iPhone 14. So the whole ad was like an iPhone, a bigger iPhone, and a bigger iPhone still, and the copy was bigger. That's it.
Yeah.
And it sticks. Like I still talk about it now. But when I go back to the airport, the Vietnamese airport, it was like, buy this, that, it would buy this product, and it would do this for you, and then this is the call to action, and then this is how you contact, and shit like that. Nobody remembers. I think that's the biggest problem.
It's almost like to stand out in Vietnam, like you could do with doing less. Because there's so much going on everywhere. Like to truly stand out, you could actually just do as little as possible with regards to your ad and be as subtle with it. Stand out, yeah.
You know what would really stand out is if you do a TVC ad that has nothing.
Yeah.
And you just say, no words needed, brand.
Yeah. Because there's so much noise, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's YouTube ads, even like in the physical environment, there's
Exactly,
so much
yeah.
noise and colour everywhere. It's like almost like an assault on the senses.
Exactly.
So to bring something different, just some space with an ad would be...
Like white noise for us is motorbike noise. So like even the white noise is full of noises.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just list is more.
Yeah. Do you feel like marketing directors are kind of just thinking, look, I've paid for all this creative, I've paid for this ad space.
Yeah.
We just got to fill it with as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's one of the elements that's making them do all that. And also I feel like it takes balls to say less. I think so. Like ad space is very expensive, especially on TV. So it only makes sense that they want. And then also for a few products, they need to look like they have a lot to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So for example, like very scientific products like infant milk or something like that, they need to showcase all their goods.
And you mentioned earlier about using consumer insights. Talk me through the process there. How do you get your consumer insights? And what have you learned about using consumer insights in ad creative?
Very important. So for me, I can't stress this enough, and I've been asking my agency to do the same, is to focus more on insight. A lot of classic ads comes from classic insights, come from very good insights. The moment you have a good insight, you're almost there. You're like 80% of the way there. If you have a good insight that really hits the spot, that's enough. Like you need to find better insights, you need to dig deeper, you need to really understand the people that are using the brand and the product. And I've been trying to push my agency to do the same. So let me talk first about what we're doing now. I've seen us using like social listening softwares or like partners. We partner up with like little agencies that do research. Sometimes because we have a strategy department, the strategy department would do some focus group testing, or they would just ask around, or they would do like secondary information research on Google, just like get as much data or information as possible. So that's where we get our insights. And also at the briefing, we will talk a little bit about our own personal point of views on the product and the brand role and the brand, which is where the insights come as well. And then if we still don't find it to be enough, then usually we would get like a few people from the office to sit, and then we just ask them about the product and the brand and their lives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in the target audience.
Yeah. And do you have any examples of where your agency or other agencies or companies have used insight to do like really awesome creative?
Yeah. So there's one, I think insight is like one of the biggest buzzword in agency world. Everybody understands like the importance of insight. So every idea we will come in first from the insight. It's just like good insights that are lacking. So for example, so this is not in Vietnam, but I read one case study of Nike. I don't remember if it was Nike or some other shoe brand, but basically they were selling this shoe that is very comfortable, like comfortable shoes. Like everybody sells comfortable shoes, right? So how like do we like say comfortable shoes in a more insightful way? And so they started talking, and they actually found this very cool insight, is that nobody really like comprehends the distance that one has to run in these shoes during one tennis match. So basically all they did was that they painted the soles, and they found out it was like 3.5 miles or something like that per tennis match.
Right.
That's why you need comfortable shoes, because you'll be running that much in this tennis match. So it's very insightful and very true. Like nobody can deny, and nobody has touched at that depth before.
Yeah.
So all they did was like they painted the soles of the shoes with paint, and they just run around like run until it reaches 3.5 kilometers. So the moment you find a good insight, you have the creative.
Yeah. You mentioned that was overseas by an international brand. Have you got any examples of international brands doing really, really good creative and copywriting in Vietnam?
Netflix. No, I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah, I think Netflix is doing a great job of interacting with the Vietnamese audience.
Yeah.
Shout out to We Great Content. Yeah, you guys are doing great.
Oh, thank you. I'll pass that on to the team. From the legendary Hoang Pham.
Yeah, I think the way you talk right now, especially on social, like really like touching the spot for the audience. We have some good content coming from Durex the condom,
Yeah.
and it's all like Vietnamese.
What's so good about their work in
You
Vietnam?
haven't-
'Cause I've heard people talking about Durex in Vietnam for ages.
It's very clever. So it's also like minimal, but it's witty. It's daring. It has balls to touch because it's a condom, so it should be able to touch the more like sensitive subjects of life, topics of life. So yeah, they're doing pretty wise stuff. Very clever, very smart. Actually, they've done a few ads that are very cool as well, in that it like very sexually liberating for people. So like they dare to show people doing sexual stuff that other ads don't do yet.
For the audience, Wang's making a hand movement. Quite a suggestive hand movement.
Now it's only in Ian's mind. So like they use visual metaphors a lot.
But they're like pumping those out on Facebook, aren't they? You know, it's not like a quarterly campaign. It's like
Yeah.
every Facebook post.
Like always on.
Yeah.
Who else? Baemin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Baemin is from Korea, and they launched when Grab had already like taken over the market, basically. But yeah, they built a very great image of themselves. Very witty, very like approachable.
Actually, last time I was in Ho Chi Minh City, I noticed the minimal nature of Grab's billboards. And actually, I was like, oh, this is refreshing. You know, it literally just showed someone like standing next to a bike with the Grab driver with their phones in their hand, and there was just one line. What did Bae Min do that was so good? Do you think?
Baemin, I think the best thing about them is the personality of the brand. So the brand is very irreverent, very kind of like rebellious, playful, funky, but at the same time cute and sweet. And the thing that they do the most well is translating this brand personality consistently into everything they do. So every ad, it feels very Baemin. Every kind of Facebook post feels very Baemin. Every merchandise is very Baemin. The first few things that they did that was making noise. So the first thing was like their tagline. So their tagline is like a play on a very colloquial Vietnamese line. It's bánh mì nóng giòn đấy. So they turn it into bánh mì nóng giòn đấy.
Right.
Very smart.
Yeah.
So from the tagline itself, it already.
Just for the audience,
Nice.
what does that mean in English?
Oh, so bánh mì nóng giòn đây means hot bánh mì is coming.
Yeah. Hot bang me's here.
Hot bánh mì is coming.
Right.
Yeah. So they turn it to bae min, so like hot bae min is coming.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
And then they did these contextualized ads. So like their ads would be very location specific. So for example, they have a bunch of billboards in District 1. Then their copy would be about District 1. Or they have a bunch of billboards on District 5. The copy would be about District 5. So it's very location specific. And it pulls you in. Yeah, just like very consistent stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I think Bae Min has what a lot of Vietnamese brands don't have. A lot of what Vietnamese brands lack. that what we talked about, like the balls to be simple. Yeah, so they just craft one line and one very strong line, and that's it.
Are there any local Vietnamese brands that you feel like have really nailed it with regard to branding, brand building? And also, are there any brands that you see behaving like content brands that are really using content to build community, build the brand, and not just make sales every day? So there's two questions there, really.
Yeah. So I don't for like content brands that are really focusing on content. So I have to give a shout out to Orion. So Orion is like confectionery brand, and they have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is all for entertainment. They do all kinds of entertainment content, and their product presence is very minimal. So everything is prioritized. It's like kept on the entertainment side, so that they actually have like a community that comes in the YouTube channel, check for new content, watch new series and stuff like that. They actually have following. So that case is a very good case. So they don't do ads on the YouTube channel.
To editorial.
They only do like editorial, like you said. Who else?
And it's what, like episodes of certain shows and
web series and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's cute. I don't think a lot of brands dare to put all this money into just like entertaining people, rather than like pushing your sales. So it's very new. I think we've pitched that a few times before and it's never got picked up. Otherwise in Vietnam, I don't see many brands really.
Content brands.
Yeah. So they do content as like this on the side thing. They never really like focus on content. Not from what I see. Yeah. So that's question 2. What's question 1?
Question 1 was, what sort of local brands like do you think are doing a really good job?
Brand building, local brands.
Brand building, brand design, brand strategy.
Off the top of my head, I would say Maru. Very good branding from the get-go. It's a good brand. They're doing a lot of cool stuff.
I was listening to a podcast the other day called The Vietnamese with Kenneth Nguyen. And he interviewed someone called George Nguyen, who is from an agency in the US, but also worked in Ho Chi Minh City. And they were talking about Vietnam's brand strategy. You know, what is Vietnam's ownable brand asset that can do for Vietnam what Pop did for Korea? Maybe creativity is one thing like that Vietnam could own, because it is
Very creative.
in everything.
No, but like I think the crux of the creativity is resourcefulness.
Right.
So have you seen people like just like making stuff out of like garbage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, making I think they were even making trainers out of pressed sugarcane.
Yeah.
For example.
Or just go out on the street, you see like making trucks out of bikes.
Yeah, but you're right, it's about resourcefulness.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that resourcefulness that when it comes to advertising is also hindering the creativity.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea to form like a forum of like creatives, or like any Vietnamese basically that works on like creativity stuff, to kind of sit together and like talk about like what the Vietnamese creativity is, and how does it differ from other countries. I think that's a really great topic.
How about Gen Z consumers in Vietnam? Have you got any insight around what makes them different from other consumers, or in Vietnam, or even regionally, or maybe just in Vietnam?
So we did like one job on Gen Z before, and we did a lot of research, and what we found is actually Vietnamese Gen Z do not differ a lot from global Gen Z.
Right.
Because they have the same kind of access to the same materials. So their thinking or like their mentality is very much alike.
Yeah.
So what they're looking for is genuine, like authenticity. So they don't want fake stuff. They call out fakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hate it when a brand is trying to look Gen Z.
Right.
So and also like they have this pride about their generation as well.
Yeah.
Like I talk to Gen Zs and they always like have this kind of like pride that they're Gen Zers.
Yeah.
And they always feel like they're very different from Gen Yers. So I think the least thing that you want to do is to make them feel similar to Gen Ys or Gen X. They're very like they have like very good kind of like power to purchase. So they're willing to spend a lot of money compared to Gen Ys at their age. So they're like one of the driving forces of the market right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel like that's the same in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, or northern and southern Vietnam?
I haven't been in Hanoi for a long time, so I can't tell about Hanoi.
Yeah.
But Ho Chi Minh City, yeah.
Because the two cities do have different spending behaviours as well, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like just from the price range is very different.
Right.
I don't know about the income, so income versus price range, I don't know.
So what price range, as in Ho Chi Minh City is more expensive?
Yeah. So from what I see, Ho Chi Minh City is usually 1.5 times more expensive. From my personal like data collecting.
Yeah.
So like for example, I can have like a bowl of pho that's very big here, which just like 30,000. In Ho Chi Minh City, that would cost me 50.
Right.
Or like cocktails. Cocktails now cost like 350k
Really?
per glass.
Yeah.
In Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Wow. Yeah, they're probably going for like 170, 180 here. Anything over 200 is probably quite steep.
Yeah.
Not steep, but on the higher end.
I don't know why, but like we party harder in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
Like yeah, we go all out.
You mentioned last night that you were trying to find a queer event in Hanoi.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one.
No, it's not like you couldn't find one, but it's like I don't know why on Friday a lot of them closed or don't have a lot going on. So I found a few venues, but I haven't checked out any of them.
Yeah. And do you notice any differences in the LGBTQI communities? It's been part of the conversation in both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City for a long time now, isn't it?
Yeah. So I haven't been in Hanoi for a long time. So I don't know how they're looking. I can only judge based on the Hanoians that I do know. I think people are a lot more liberated now. So like both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Like the first day I came back to Hanoi, I saw a gay couple just walking by holding hands. I could never do that when I was in Hanoi. So yeah.
What, 5 years ago?
Yeah. So like I think life is a lot more free. I think lately on TV we also been very like open and like accepting to LGBTQI communities. So the rest of the population is like getting catching up. So I think it's a great thing.
Do you see it much in advertising messaging, or
Yeah.
you know, because I've noticed a lot of the advertising in the UK, for example, has changed. There's a lot more diversity, which is great and was much needed.
Yeah.
Is that happening in Ho Chi Minh City as well?
Yeah.
In Vietnam as well?
You now see like gay couples or lesbian couples on an ad
Yeah.
for a big brand.
Yeah.
Or like you now see like you said, diversity, not just like in terms of gender identity or sexual orientation, but also like in size or in skin colors or in like body types or anything like that. So you see a lot more diversity.
Yeah, which is interesting because I feel like the UK's only really caught up with the body type diversity, and I think that's got more variety in body type than Vietnam has. But Vietnam is already including.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have ads that are now include like disabled people. It's not like I don't know if it's reached all over Vietnam. I don't know if they do like a TV ad that has the ability to reach like a lot of people in Vietnam. or they just like pinpoint one city. But at least in Ho Chi Minh City, we're seeing a lot of diversity.
Yeah, great.
I think in this day and age, it's not very hard for us to catch up with the newest kind of like changes in global advertising scene. So.
And what about your not necessarily but your generation's parents? How are they thinking about diversity and LGBTQI? And I mean, can the young people talk to their parents about this stuff?
I've seen people who couldn't, and I've seen people who can. So
you were able to, right?
Yeah. So I came out to my family before I left for Ho Chi Minh City. And then a few years ago when my dad passed away, I also came out to my dad's side of the family. So and they've all been very accepting, I think. And my dad's side of the family is in Lao Cai.
Right.
So it's not like
north of Vietnam.
Yeah. Very north of Vietnam.
Yeah.
And they're very open to it. But then again, when I go into like LGBTQI events and I talk to people, a lot of people still have trouble talking to their parents still. So I don't know what's the formula, like how do we differ in our ways of talking to the parents, or is there any way we can help them talk to the parents better, or like is there any way, like what is the difference between an accepting parent and an unaccepting parent, and how do we find a way to like pull the unaccepting people more on this side. So it's very random at the moment. Like I don't find a pattern. I don't see like anything similar between two unaccepting parents, and so it's hard to pinpoint exactly where our standing is.
So how has life been for you as someone transitioning in Vietnam?
It's been great. I think I don't know how, but like I know how to like filter out people who aren't that accepting out of my network. So the people that I do talk to, I do spend time with, are all very accepting, and they're all like aware that I'm a transgender. So people have been treating me well. The company's been treating me well. Like they have a lot of things they don't know yet on how to navigate this. So for example, they leaked my real name out a few times. And that's not great, but it's not like they meant to do that. They just didn't know. So there's not like a guideline on how to like treat LGBTQI people in your office. So when I was working with you, I never had to go through that. But at like a corporate, they didn't know yet, and it's okay. I think they learn over time. There needs to be some kind of guidelines, like the first case for them to like make mistakes on, much like the first child. So it's fine. The company's been great. The people's been great. The act of transitioning is a bit hard. So you don't have like a infrastructure. You have like 2 hospitals in Vietnam that are doing surgeries right now, or 1 hospital that is doing consultation on like the hormones therapy, and you don't really even have like any legislation on when you go into transitioning, or like how much hormones do you get, or things like that. A lot of people are doing this without any consultation, with just YouTube tutorials. It's why people would learn how to inject themselves on YouTube. I did. It's weird. And then we have to buy our own like testosterone or estrogens. So like we would have like one dealer who would go to Thailand, and they have like this certificate to buy all this stuff and bring it to Hanoi, and they would sell it to other people.
I mean, that must be quite a a scary process. And do you
Yeah.
feel a little bit alone, or with everything else that's going on?
Well, we come together quite well. Like we have like Facebook groups and like
Right.
help groups and things like that where we can just ask for advice. But yeah, sometimes like for example, the first few shots that I gave to myself, I was shaking. Like I was scared because I didn't know if I was doing it right. What could happen? I had to do a whole bunch of research, and still I was doing it alone.
Right.
So I don't know.
But you were doing this all while moving to a new city, Ho Chi Minh City,
Yeah.
living by yourself, new job, in advertising.
Yeah.
Man,
It's hard.
that's a lot. You should be really proud of
Fourth.
your, what you've achieved, and
Fourth.
it's amazing.
Cool. I think it would really help though to like somehow legislate the whole transitioning process a little bit to like for us to like get our hormones at the trustworthy place, get like consultation on what our numbers are looking like. We do have it now, but we have like one, and the capacity is not like they cannot like cover the whole nation. Or most more importantly, like mentality, mental health, or like emotional health, because when you inject, your hormones change, and so your emotions get out of hand also. Like yeah, they call it like the second puberty. It was like the first time in my life where I was that out of control with my emotions.
Really?
Yeah, it was tough. It was like going through puberty all over again. Yeah. So the temper was short. Like I was more aggressive. I was more childish. I was like, yeah, it was hard.
To be going through all of that alone without the kind of, I mean, I guess like peer to peer is really good, that support, people that have done it and been
Yeah.
there. But still, you kind of want some sort of infrastructure and government
Exactly. Yeah.
sort of acknowledgement and support, right?
Yeah. You need. You just want somebody to call when you're going through shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be great to find like a center I can call if I ever feel the need, just like a safety net.
Are you seeing much conversation around mental health now?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Especially COVID. After COVID, I feel like people are a lot more aware now about like mental health and like work-life balance.
Are you talking about it in terms of ad creative and stuff, or insights there, or any clients coming to you in that industry or sector, or not quite yet?
Not yet.
No.
But we do see a lot of work coming out with like mindfulness or like living life balanced and holistically. So we've seen. So it's not like, I don't think that's translate into like the client briefs yet. I haven't seen a brief that talks about mental health.
What trends would you say
Oh shit!
foreign brands should be aware of in Vietnam this year,
This year,
2023?
2023.
Or what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about like elevating the creativity. So like all this talk about what is Vietnamese creativity, but at the same time, like we talked about how like a Vietnamese ad is having too much, it's too salesy and stuff like that. I'm excited about somehow upping the creativity in those ads. So like our bar of what is creative should be higher. Should be more about like effective, single-minded, on brand, on purpose, on target works, rather than just like say all this information, So I think that's one thing I'm excited about. I don't know how soon that trend will come, but I hope this year.
Yeah.
Actually, I think a lot of Vietnamese creatives are really like making a name for themselves on the market. They just haven't come together yet. So we have like do you know the project Love the Work More?
No.
So Cannes Lions.
Yeah.
They have like this library of work that Cannes winning, but the library is exclusive. So you have to pay a certain amount of fee to access that library.
Right.
So these two Vietnamese kids, I don't know them. I hope I knew them. I'm a big fan. They hand-picked, and because you have the listing, you just don't have the case films. So they hand research the case film for each of the winners throughout all of the years. They have their own library of case films, and they open it to the public. And so Cannes Lions website was called lovethework.com, and their website is called lovetheworkmore.com. And so they can just access it.
Wow.
And then
And make it more open to the public.
Yeah.
Can you send that to me?
Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to do it now, but
And actually Cannes Lions acknowledged their work.
Oh, really?
And give them also an award.
Wow. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then you see artists in Vietnam as well. You have a lot of artists that are making names in the fashion industry, in the arts industry, everywhere.
Yeah.
So we don't lack creativity.
No.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's so much talent that's now becoming more visible.
Yeah. Our job is to somehow translate that into the ads that we create. I don't see that translated into like advertising.
Well, I tell you what, if there's anyone that I think...
No, don't.
No, I dude.
Stop it.
For everyone listening, this is Hoang Pham, and you should be looking out for him in the years to come. I think you're going to be one of Vietnam's greatest ad creatives.
Oh, thank you.
I really believe that. You know. So so I just want to really thank you for coming on today and being so open. I think and insightful, and I'm really, really excited to see where you go.
Yeah. So am I. Thank you, mate.
Good luck. Lots of love.
You've been listening to You Don't Know Vietnam. I'm Ian Paynton from We Create Content. I'd like to thank DJ Jase from the Beats Saigon for the soundtrack, and to you for making it all the way to the end.